I was born and brought up in the village that I now live, which is Llangynin near St Clair's in the county of Carmarthenshire. I'm the son of a farmer. I was brought up on the farm, and even though I loved the agricultural life, I didn't feel a calling to be a farmer. And I always wanted to be a teacher, and after finishing school in Whitland Grammar, I went to Lampeter University to study theology and church history, and then to Trinity College in Carmarthen, where I did a postgraduate certificate in education. And for 7 years I went to teach. It was a hard choice at the time whether I wanted to teach physical education because I was so interested in sport, or to teach religious education. But at the end I decided on religious education, and I spent happy years as a teacher. But then I felt a calling to do full-time work, and I left the teaching to go and work with the Council for Sunday Schools. At that time, I met my wife, Sian. She lived in Pontiets near Llanelli, and when we got married, we lived in Pontiets for 5 years before moving back here to Llangynin. My parents were very kind to give us a portion of land where we built the house that we now live in, and at that time, our first son, Gareth, was born. He was born, in fact, whilst we lived in Pontiets, but at a very young age, we came back here to Llangynin, and he was brought up here in the rural area in Llangynin. And 5 years after Gareth's birth, Caris was born, our daughter. So we got 2 children, Gareth and Caris. And I then spent 17 years as a children and youth worker with the Council for Sunday Schools, working across South Wales. I then, when that work was coming to an end, I had worked, very similar work in fact, here in Carmarthenshire, working first of all in the north of the county as a children and youth worker again, and more recently for the past 10 years with MIC, which in Welsh is Menter Ieuenctid Cristnogol, which is an interdenominational youth initiative, and been absolutely very happy in the work that I've been doing there. I'm finishing the work with MIC at the end of this year. I feel that the time is right. I feel that I've taken the work of MIC as far as I can, and that it's now time for someone younger than me to take over and to bring some new inspirational ideas how to develop the work with children and young people. I've always been passionate about sports, and I remember back in school during PE lessons, what I would do, I would go and practice cross-country. I used to compete in cross-country, represent the school, represent the county, etc. I was also a member of Carmarthen Harriers, and I used to compete also in 1500 metre races or mile races, and had great enjoyment out of it. I participated in sport, in running, until I was 21 years of age. I gave up at that age, not because I wasn't particularly enjoying it, but because there was a passion for football, which I found very difficult to do both sports together. So then I played football for local teams and in local leagues until I was 37 years of age. I made it last as long as I could. I started off as a winger and eventually finished off as full-back, and had great enjoyment in the sport. I went through my career, amazingly enough, without being booked, but I do remember one occasion, well, I remember several occasions that I was nearly booked, but particularly my very last game. I remember the game to this day. I was playing full-back, and the attacker from the opposing team was through on goal, and I was the last person in the line of defence. And he was ahead of me, and I was going as fast as I could after him, and I did a sliding tackle. Unfortunately, rather than taking the ball, I took the man. And the referee blew his whistle, and he came up to me, and I thought to myself, oh, here we go now then, I'm going to be booked to my very last game. And I appealed to the ref and told him, ref, please, I'm sorry, I admit I did take the man, but this is my very last game. I've never been booked. Please don't book me today. And the ref took pity on me, I believe, but he never showed me that yellow card, so I can still say that I was never booked in my football career. Well, all good things come to an end, and at 37 years of age, I had to hang up my boots. And I then felt that there would be a void in my life. But I'd always shown an interest in the game of bowls. Been on holiday in Torquay and saw them playing bowls there. I thought this is a very fascinating game. And I always thought when I finished playing football, I would take up the game of bowls. And I've never looked back, really. Both myself and my wife, Shan, we are very committed bowls people. I bowl outdoor for Whitland Bowling Club, and indoor during the winter season I bowl for Bro Merthin Club in Carmarthen. We thoroughly enjoy the sport, and we participate in various competitions, etc. And I believe that my passion for sport has been very helpful in my work to link up with young people and children, because naturally children and young people love to play. And one of the things that I do in my work is to arrange football, netball competitions and indoor athletics. And they've been a wonderful means of building bridges with children and young people. You get to know them better, they come to trust you well, and to build those bridges, of course, for the sake of the gospel, that you can use those to reach out on another day to them with the message of Jesus Christ. I had the privilege of being brought up in a Christian family, and one of my earliest memories is my mother spending time with me before I went to sleep at night, praying and reading from the Bible, obviously a children's Bible, and it was the way that the Christian faith was nurtured within me. From the very earliest days, I came to know a lot about the Bible, came to know about Jesus, came to know about God. And this faith was developing within me. I have never doubted the existence of God. And I remember quite a comical story, really, looking back to my primary school days when I was only about 5 or 6 years of age. It was during lunch, and I wasn't keen on vegetables. And on my plate, there were some carrots which hadn't been eaten. And the teacher was trying to encourage me to eat the carrots. And she said, "Oh, come on, Nigel, eat those carrots, will you? They're lonely by themselves there." And I just answered so naturally, saying, "No, they're not by themselves. God is with them." So, that just shows you that as a young boy, I believed in the existence of God. I was brought up in the Baptist tradition, and when I was 13 years of age, I was baptized by total immersion. And that wasn't just going through the process of being baptized. I had come to faith by then. I can't say that I had a sudden conversion, anything like Saul of Tarsus. It was a natural progression. I knew of Jesus, and I gradually came to believe in him until I came to trust him and to accept him as my Lord and my Saviour. I can't point to the day, but I know that I came to know him, and by now he is my very best friend. When my children were born, Gareth and Caris, I was aware that it was one of my greatest responsibilities as a parent, and a privilege also, to introduce them to the Christian faith. And I did what my mother did with me. I spent time with them, praying and reading the Bible at night. And that, again, has had an influence on their lives. And by today, both of them are believers and going on with the Lord. And having become a Christian, of course, one needs to grow in faith. And I believe that over the years, I've come to know Jesus better. And I got a daily pattern by now, well, for many years really. I get up early in the morning and I spend time with the Lord in prayer. I couldn't face the day without committing the day ahead to the Lord. Whatever day it is of the year, whatever is ahead of me that day, I commit it to the Lord. I not only share the day ahead for myself, but I pray for matters in the world, for friends in need, etc. And Jesus is real to me. He's a friend. Is somebody that I couldn't really do without. And I love him with all my heart because he has loved me first, and he's given his life at Calvary that I might live. and I can sincerely commend him to anybody. He is one that you can trust in and somebody who never ever leaves you down.